when her officer husband, Michael, slapped me, 3 months pregnant, to the ground for his savior, Chloe. That's when I, who had been hopelessly devoted to Michael for 8 years, suddenly woke up. I calmly went to the hospital and had an abortion, cutting the last tie with Michael. A year later, Michael finally remembered me, his supposedly pregnant wife. He showed up with bags of gifts, wanting to see me and his child. I laughed. You divorced me and married another woman. Why would I keep your child to make myself sick? I was reborn. Reborn on the day my officer husband, Michael, gave all the money I'd saved for childbirth to his savior, Chloe, to buy appliances. Seeing the brand new color TV, refrigerator, and washing machine being moved into Chloe's apartment next door, I realized the money I'd saved for childbirth was gone. It was like a bolt from the blue. I went to find Michael to get an explanation, only to see Chloe coyly falling into his arms. Seeing my own husband so intimate with another woman, I trembled with anger. I stepped forward and demanded to know where my money went. Chloe, still in Michael's arms, answered sweetly, Michael gave all the money to me to buy appliances. Looking at Chloe's smug face, I was furious. How can you be so shameless? You don't earn your own money, so you just spend other people's. Chloe burst into tears, her face a mess. Michael, red with anger, forced me to apologize. There was no way I'd apologize. Ever since Michael had transferred Chloe to the military base to be his confidential secretary, everything had changed drastically. Michael was constantly helping Chloe. Buying her rice and flour was a common occurrence. If Chloe had a headache or a fever, Michael was at her beck and call. Even in the middle of the night, if it thundered, Chloe could knock on our door, wrapped in a blanket, and take Michael away to keep her company. As for me, his wife of 3 years, Michael treated me like I was invisible. Anger and grievance filled my heart, especially when I saw Chloe shamelessly fall into Michael's arms in front of me, his wife, taunting me. I was even angrier. You two are disgusting, a pair of cheaters. I'm going to report you to the military authorities. As soon as I said that, Michael violently slapped me hard across the face. The slap knocked me to the ground, and my head hit Chloe's cabinet hard. Blood gushed out. As I lay on the floor, a flood of unbelievable memories washed over me. It turned out Michael hadn't just given Chloe the money I'd saved for childbirth to buy appliances. He also gave Chloe the apartment my work unit had assigned to me. I cried and argued, but it was no use. Chloe was vicious and baby, constantly plotting against me. And Michael believed Chloe completely. After another one of Chloe's schemes, Michael used the excuse that his parents were old and frail and needed care, and sent me back to his hometown, thousands of miles away, to look after them. I worked tirelessly in the countryside, gave birth, took care of his parents, and longed for our reunion like waiting for the stars and the moon. Michael's career soared, but he never thought of bringing me back. It wasn't until both his parents passed away, and I went to find Michael, that I realized I had no relationship with him anymore. We had divorced and become strangers the moment he sent me back to the countryside. He couldn't wait to marry Chloe after sending me away. He threw a lavish wedding for her. He and Chloe were inseparable and deeply in love. Chloe couldn't have children, so the child I had worked so hard to raise became theirs. Seeing me, old and haggard, show up at their door, Michael avoided me. Chloe brought my biological son to see me. Chloe, dripping in jewels, threw a stack of money at me like I was trash. Mia, Michael only ever used you as a free nanny all these years. I am his rightful legal wife. So, get lost and go back where you came from. My own son also said, Mom, look at yourself. What do you look like now? You're not good enough for my dad anymore. Take the money and leave. I'll send you money for your retirement every month. Just one condition. Don't ever show up in front of our family again. My whole life had been a joke, all for someone else's benefit. The man I loved deeply treated me like a free nanny, and my own son despised me. Overwhelmed with anger and grief, I vomited blood and died. Memories of my past life and current events swirled in my mind. I lay on the ground, staring blankly at Michael and Chloe. Perhaps the hatred and anger in my eyes were too intense. Michael, busy comforting the crying Chloe, finally spared a glance at me, bleeding on the floor. Seeing my face swollen and my forehead bleeding, Michael froze. He finally remembered I was pregnant. Michael let go of the crying Chloe and came to help me up. Hatred filled my heart. I used all my strength to push his helping hand away. Get lost. Michael didn't leave. Instead, he helped me up from the floor, You're bleeding. I'll take you to the hospital to get it treated. I told you to get lost, didn't you hear me? If you hadn't been talking nonsense, why would I have hit you? I was just furious. This is your fault. Let's go to the hospital first to treat the wound. We can talk about apologizing later. Ignoring my struggles, he picked me up and prepared to take me to the hospital. Just then, Chloe suddenly slumped to the ground. Seeing Chloe faint, Michael immediately let go of me and rushed to her side. Chloe, what's wrong? Wake up. Don't you know Chloe has a heart condition and can't be agitated? This is all your fault. He yelled at me, losing his composure, then shouted for his guard. Leo, get the car, quick, to the hospital. Michael, his face creased with anxiety, carried Chloe and rushed out. His guard, Leo, heard the commotion and immediately brought the car around. Michael put Chloe in the car and ordered the guard to drive, completely forgetting about me and my bleeding forehead. The car roared away. I wiped the blood dripping from my forehead again and staggered back to my apartment next door. Looking in the mirror, I bandaged my bleeding forehead. I calmly began to recall my previous life. In my previous life, after Michael hit me, he also ignored my bleeding and only cared about Chloe, who was pretending to be unconscious. Furious and resentful, I followed them to the hospital and caused a scene. The consequence was that Chloe had a heart attack and stayed in the hospital for half a month. And I was put under house arrest by Michael. Because I was pregnant, Michael didn't lock me up, but he arranged for a guard to watch me 24/7. That guard, Leo, was from the same hometown as Chloe and sided with her. He was two-faced, deceiving his superiors and bullying those below him. He treated me very roughly, giving me only one meal a day, 2 hard buns and cold water. By the time Chloe was discharged from the hospital, I was emaciated, just skin and bones. Leo said I was on a hunger strike and refused to eat or drink. Michael believed him. When he saw me, there was no comfort, only scolding. He yelled at me for being unrepentant and told me to hurry up and die if I wanted to. He also warned me that a shrew like me, who constantly made trouble, wasn't fit to be his wife, and if I caused any more scenes, he would divorce me. I loved Michael desperately. Hearing him talk about divorce, I was terrified. To prevent Michael from divorcing me, I didn't dare cause any more trouble. But my forbearance changed nothing. Chloe came to provoke me every few days, showing off how much Michael cared about her and liked her. Listening to Chloe, I would get so angry that I inevitably argued with her again. Chloe set me up again. She rolled down the stairs herself and falsely accused me of pushing her. Chloe was hospitalized again, this time claiming that the fall had damaged her uterus and she could no longer have children. I explained to Michael that I hadn't pushed Chloe, that she had framed me and staged the whole thing, but Michael didn't believe me. He told me I was facing jail time for intentional injury. I was scared to death. Later, Michael came to me and said he had pulled some strings so I wouldn't have to go to jail. Michael told me to go back to the countryside to take care of his parents, saying that after I gave birth and things settled down, he would bring me back. I had no choice but to agree to Michael's suggestion. On the day I left, Michael had me sign an apology agreement. I trusted Michael and signed the so-called apology agreement, and then he sent me to the countryside. That was over 30 years ago. At first, I planned to return to Michael's side after giving birth, but his mother had a stroke and was paralyzed, needing care. To fulfill my filial duty to Michael, I had to stay in the countryside. In those 30 years, Michael only came back a few times to visit his parents. He also took our son to live with him, ostensibly to lighten my burden. I didn't know the truth until I was on my deathbed. The so-called apology agreement I signed was actually a divorce agreement. Less than 3 months after sending me to the countryside, Michael married Chloe. He even threw a lavish wedding for Chloe. And I was treated as their free old servant for over 30 years. Thinking about this, I gritted my teeth in hatred. This time, whoever wants to be the old servant can be the old servant. Anyway, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm going to abort this ungrateful brat in my belly. If Michael wants a divorce, I'll give it to him. This life, I'm going to leave this disgusting pair and live my own life. Since I'm leaving, I need to plan ahead. First, I need to secure some benefits for myself. The money I saved for childbirth has already been given to Chloe by Michael to buy appliances. There's not much money left in the house now, but next month is Michael's birthday, and I bought him a watch as a birthday present. I can sell the watch first. Also, my salary for this month hasn't been paid yet, and I'm not going to hand it over. And when Michael and I got married, I joyfully prepared a pair of gold rings. Michael thought they were childish and never wore his, which makes it convenient for me to sell them now. With that, I can get back about $1,000, enough for the abortion and recovery. The urgent matter now is the apartment my work unit assigned me. Last time, Michael directly gave it to Chloe. That's not happening this time. I need to sell the apartment first and get some money. With the watch and gold rings in my pocket, I rushed to my workplace, ignoring the injury on my head and my disheveled appearance. My boss was surprised to see me like this and asked what was wrong. I didn't say much, just told my boss I was short on cash and wanted to transfer the apartment assigned to me, asking him to keep an eye out for buyers and that the price was negotiable. I was always a nice person at work and got along well with my boss and colleagues. My boss promised to ask around. Then I went to sell the watch and gold rings. The watch was brand new and unused. I happened to meet a couple getting married and sold it for $50 less than I bought it for. I pawned the rings, a total of 18 grams, for less than $1,000. With the money from the watch and rings, I went to the hospital and directly found an OBGYN to explain my intentions. Michael and I had been married for 5 years and hadn't been able to conceive. Because I was worried, I often saw the doctor. The doctor knew me very well. When she saw I wanted an abortion, she tried her best to persuade me otherwise. My mind was made up, but in the end, the doctor still didn't agree to perform the surgery. She told me to get Michael's signature for the surgery. After all, Michael was a leader now. If I had an abortion without Michael's signature, she would be implicated and disciplined. I couldn't get the abortion, and I was in a terrible mood. On the way back, I racked my brains trying to figure out how to get Michael to sign. In my previous life, Chloe falsely accused me of pushing her, causing her to injure her uterus and become infertile. Michael divorced me and married Chloe because of this. This time, I wouldn't wait for Chloe to plot against me. I had to strike first and make this a reality, forcing Michael to divorce me. As long as I get divorced, that ungrateful brat will naturally and legitimately become a pool of blood. Michael didn't come back until 9 o'clock that night. I had already eaten, washed up, and gone to bed. I was drowsy when I felt something brushing against my face. An inexplicable sense of disgust and hatred washed over me, and I slapped out. With a loud smack, my palm stung, and I woke up completely. Clear finger marks appeared on one side of Michael's face. Needless to say, I hit him. At this moment, Michael's face was livid as he looked at me. "Mia, are you crazy?" I had known Michael for 10 years, and I had always been gentle, considerate, and like a warm blanket to him. This sudden slap, Michael's mood was predictable. I rubbed my numb hand. I was just asleep and dreaming that someone was chasing me. I couldn't tell if it was a dream or reality, so I lashed out. Michael naturally wouldn't believe my explanation, and I didn't intend for him to. He fumed. "I just wanted to see how your injury was, and you pretended to be crazy and hit me. Mia, you've really got some nerve." I looked at the finger marks on his face with some regret. I really wasn't pretending to be crazy. If I had known it was him touching my face, I should have slapped him a few more times. Michael, seeing I wasn't speaking, grew even more annoyed. "You went to sleep without waiting for me? And you didn't make dinner. I thought you weren't coming back. As for dinner, didn't you eat with Chloe? Don't you two often eat dinner together?" A sheepish look crossed Michael's face. "I shouldn't have hit you today. I was just so angry and confused at the time. To be honest, you were way out of line today too. You knew I was just helping Chloe out of gratitude, and you knew she has a heart condition, yet you still said those things to her?" He was going to continue lecturing me. I looked coldly at Michael's handsome face. Before I woke up, before I knew the horrible things he would do to me, I could never get enough of his handsome face. Now that I knew what was going to happen, I found his face disgusting no matter how I looked at it. Seeing that I wasn't speaking, Michael softened his tone. "Chloe was wronged because of you. Tomorrow, go find her, admit your mistake, and apologize. Then we'll put this behind us. And if I don't admit my mistake and apologize? If you do something wrong, you have to admit it. Don't you know that? I want to know what I did wrong. You took my savings without asking. Don't I have the right to get it back? How about I say I borrowed the money from you? If you borrow something, you return it. You should pay back everything you borrowed from me before. Being repeatedly challenged by me, Michael's expression was extremely awkward. His salary had long been spent on his parents and Chloe otherwise. He wouldn't have needed to touch my money. Michael reached for my hand, trying to coax me gently. I pulled my hand away. Michael, let's be clear. Helping Chloe is your business. I won't interfere anymore. But you must return every penny of my money. Before, when he used my money, I never said anything, which made Michael take it for granted. Now seeing me so serious, he rubbed his nose. Mia, we're husband and wife, a team. There's no husband and wife team. From now on, if you want to repay your debt of gratitude, I won't stop you. I can promise not to go looking for Chloe to cause trouble anymore, and I won't comment on your interactions. Just one thing. Give me my money back. Michael stared at me intently. What do you mean? Exactly what I said. From now on, we live our own lives. If you want to take care of Chloe, you do it yourself. Don't drag me into it. I have no responsibility or obligation to help you take care of Chloe. Previously, whenever I got angry and caused a scene, as long as Michael said a few soft words to coax me, I would immediately make up with him. This sudden change, so different from before, made Michael's expression shift. Mia, do you know what you're saying? You're an officer's wife. Helping people in need is what you should do. Then how come I don't see you caring about other people in need? There are plenty of people around here who need help more than Chloe. Why don't you help them? Being countered like this, Michael lost all face. He sneered, his face dark. What nonsense are you talking about now? I've told you, there's nothing going on between me and Chloe. She saved my life, and I'm just repaying her. I'd heard this so many times my ears were calloused. I cut him off directly. All right, I'm not interested in your business with Chloe, and I won't care anymore. I only have one request. Give me my money back. How can I return money that's already been spent? Don't be unreasonable. I'm telling you, I know what you're upset about. Aren't you just jealous? How many times have I explained it to you? Why won't you listen? Michael was already very impatient, his tone much sterner. Mia, you better get rid of those petty thoughts. I'll continue to help Chloe. If you don't listen and keep causing trouble at home, then don't blame me for being heartless. I'll divorce you. In my past life, Michael threatened me with divorce, and I was scared to death, terrified that Michael would leave me, terrified of not having Michael's love. This life, knowing that Michael's love would never be for me, only for Chloe, what was there to hesitate about? After he finished speaking, I nodded without any hesitation. Okay, let's get divorced. My agreeing to the divorce was unimaginable to Michael. He looked at me as if he'd seen a ghost. Mia, are you sure you want to divorce me? I'm sure. I nodded affirmatively. We'll get divorced tomorrow. But before the divorce, you have to give me back all my money. It's about money again? Are you obsessed with money? Is money all you see? Michael asked me, grinding his teeth. Yes, money is all I see. Michael didn't believe I really wanted to divorce him. You're simply unreasonable. I'm telling you, Mia. Don't think you can do whatever you want just because you're pregnant. I'm not doing whatever I want. The baby isn't an obstacle. As long as you sign, I'll go to the hospital tomorrow and get rid of the baby. Seeing my determined expression, Michael took a few steps back. Mia, are you crazy? You can even say something like not wanting the baby. My firm stance on divorce stunned Michael. He angrily slammed the door and left. He didn't come back after leaving. I didn't care. I lay down and continued to rest. The next morning, I was awakened by a knock on the door. Michael's guard, Leo, stood at the door with breakfast, a sour look on his face. The commander asked me to bring you breakfast. Seeing Leo, I didn't look pleased either, and my tone was harsh. Put it over there. Leo put the breakfast on the table and looked at my face. I stared back at him coldly. What are you looking at? The delivery is done. You can get lost now. I've always been kind to others and never put on airs, so Michael's guards always treated me like a pushover. Especially this Leo. He was from Chloe's hometown and sided with her, always secretly targeting me. Seeing me suddenly so assertive, Leo was startled, then became angry out of embarrassment. What's with your attitude? Last night you were fighting for attention and kicked the commander out to sleep in his office. And today the commander is being so humble, and you still don't appreciate it? Let me tell you, Mia, you better tone it down. Don't piss off the commander. You'll regret it then. Are you threatening me? Who do you think you are? Just a dog by Chloe's side, and you think you're somebody. I'm warning you, be polite to me. If you piss me off, I'll expose your dirty dealings with Chloe. As I finished speaking, Leo's face changed drastically. He didn't dare say anything more and hurried away. Leo's reaction surprised me. I had only warned him because I remembered him helping Chloe against me in my past life. But looking at Leo, so flustered and scared, could there really be some shady business between him and Chloe? A sense of caution grew in my heart. After breakfast, I went to my workplace again to see my boss. He told me a colleague wanted my housing assignment. However, the other party didn't have much money on hand and could only give me $4,000. I knew property prices would rise in the future. $4,000 was indeed too little. But I had no other choice. I absolutely couldn't let Chloe benefit from the apartment. I agreed, took the $4,000, and transferred the housing assignment to the other person. Since I was going to divorce Michael, I couldn't continue living here. I had to quit my job too. Thinking about the developments 30 years later, a plan secretly formed in my mind. I had to leave this place, go south to do business, and become one of the first to get rich. With my plan in mind, I quickly returned home. Pushing open the door, I found Chloe actually sitting in my living room. Seeing me, Chloe flashed a sarcastic smile. Well, the busy bee is finally back, huh? What are you doing here? To see you, of course. Michael beat you black and blue, and you were bleeding. As a neighbor, I had to come and check on you, right? Chloe said, circling me with a smile. Then she lowered her voice and said viciously, "Why don't you just die? You actually used asking for a divorce as a tactic to retreat in order to advance. Do you dare to get a divorce? If you dare to divorce Michael, pigs will fly. Of course I dare to divorce, provided you return my money. Let me tell you, Chloe, I have no problem with you and Michael fooling around. You can do whatever you want, but you must return my money. And what if I don't return it? If you don't return it, I'll report you and Michael to the military for having an affair. I'd like to see how you two will manage here then." Chloe's face changed. "You dare? What wouldn't I dare? Everyone knows about you and Michael fooling around for the past 2 years. Michael used his connections to transfer you here as his secretary, then gave you all our family's money. You used my money to buy appliances, clothes, jewelry, and to eat and drink well. The neighbors have seen it all. As soon as the organization investigates, your sordid affair with Michael will be crystal clear. Michael was helping me. Don't you have hands and feet? Are you disabled and on your deathbed?" I sneered. "There are plenty of people around here who need help more than you. Why doesn't Michael help them instead of just you? You're a man and a woman, clearly up to no good. People aren't blind, everyone sees it clearly." Chloe started to get scared. "What exactly are you trying to do? Don't you know this will ruin Michael?" "I know. What does it have to do with me?" I sneered at Chloe. "I'm giving you 3 days. Return my money immediately, or else you and Michael will only face ruin and disgrace." Chloe left in a disheveled state, throwing down a threat for me to wait and see as she went. I'm waiting, all right. Waiting with bated breath. If I don't provoke her a little, how will she make her move early? I'm waiting for Chloe's dirty tricks. This time, let's see who dies faster. The next 2 days were very calm. Michael stayed in the army barracks and didn't come back. I knew he was waiting for me to go to him, apologize, and make up. Fat chance. I didn't have time to deal with him. I was busy handling my own affairs. Since I was going to make a clean break with Michael, I naturally wouldn't let Michael and Chloe, those two things, benefit. I sold everything in the house that I had bought, and that could be sold for money. What couldn't be sold, I gave away. I gave the sweaters I knitted for Michael and the new clothes I bought for him to Mrs. Miller, wife of Instructor Miller from the East End. She was very grateful and held my hand while talking. "Mrs. Miller asked me, your Commander Michael hasn't been back these past few days?" I nodded. Mrs. Miller looked at me sympathetically. "Mia, you're a good person, and good people often get bullied. There are some things I don't want to say, but I just don't want to see you bullied like this. That Chloe, she's not a good person. You have to be careful." "I know. I don't care anymore. Let them do whatever they want, it has nothing to do with me." This would explain why Leo helped Chloe treat me that way. Because of what Mrs. Miller said, I secretly became more vigilant and paid more attention to Leo and Chloe. And it didn't take long. Sure enough, I discovered something fishy. Leo actually went to Chloe's house secretly at night. I wasn't sure if they were having an affair, but a single man and a single woman together in the middle of the night definitely wasn't anything good. Thinking of the helplessness and misery when they plotted against me in my previous life, hatred welled up. I'm going to make this disgusting pair pay. I got a basin and a stick from the house. I stood guard at Chloe's door and started banging hard, shouting as I banged, "Thief! Come catch the thief! Thief!" In the middle of the night, my banging on the pot was really loud. Soon, the neighbors all got up and ran over to see what was going on. I pointed at Chloe's house anxiously and said, "I went to the bathroom in the middle of the night and saw someone suspiciously entering Comrade Chloe's house. It must be a thief. We can't let this thief get away." No one doubted my words. Mrs. Miller, especially, immediately directed Instructor Miller to take people to block the back window. Others followed me to guard the front door and make a commotion. After a while of ruckus, the door finally opened. Chloe and Leo appeared before everyone. I deliberately raised my voice. "Oh, it's Leo. What are you doing at Comrade Chloe's house in the middle of the night?" I needed to talk to Comrade Chloe about something," Leo stammered in reply. "Something to discuss? What couldn't be said during the day that had to be discussed at 2 in the morning? Yeah, what are you talking about in the middle of the night? Don't tell me you two." Mrs. Miller raised her voice. Chloe immediately denied it. "We have no relationship whatsoever. Leo was just worried about my health and came to check on me." Who would believe that? Nobody did. Someone deliberately said, "Could it be that Comrade Chloe and Leo are dating? Dating is normal. No need to be so secretive." "No, we're not dating." Chloe glared at me with venomous eyes, repeatedly denying any other relationship with Leo. And Leo also didn't admit to anything, just insisted that he was worried about Chloe getting sick and came to check on her out of concern. In the end, it was Michael who arrived and dispersed the noisy crowd. The onlookers dispersed because Michael gave an order. I lost interest in watching the commotion and prepared to return. Seeing her backup had arrived, Chloe immediately started crying. "Michael, Leo and I are innocent. He was just worried about me and brought me medicine. I didn't expect Comrade Mia to slander us like this." When Chloe cried, Leo also started complaining. Michael, his face dark, scolded me. "All you do all day is cause trouble. Why can't you do something productive? Don't you know you could drive someone to their death doing this?" I sneered. "I just saw someone sneaking into Comrade Chloe's house in the middle of the night and got worried, so I called people. Is that wrong too? Besides, you have so many guards. Why doesn't anyone else sneak into Comrade Chloe's house in the middle of the night? Only Leo." As I said this, both Leo and Chloe's faces changed, and Michael also showed a suspicious look. He was no fool otherwise, he wouldn't have risen to such a high position. Seeing Michael look at them, Chloe immediately fell to the ground, pretending to faint. Then she was rushed to the hospital. I sneered and turned back into the house. I had seen it clearly just now. Chloe's gaze towards me was extremely venomous. Needless to say, she hated me intensely too. Now that her relationship with Leo had been exposed like this, Chloe knew very well that I was aware of their scandal. To prevent her relationship with Leo from being exposed, Chloe had to find a way to cover it up. To eliminate me, this major threat, I believe Chloe will make a move soon. And I'm just afraid she won't make a move. Luring the enemy into a trap, that's what makes it fun. In the morning, when I got up to go to work, everyone I met on the way was discussing Chloe and Leo. All sorts of things were being said. I arrived at my workplace in a cheerful mood and stayed in good spirits all day. At noon, Michael came to my workplace to find me. As soon as he saw me, he started criticizing me. Last night's incident has been cleared up. It was indeed Leo who was worried about Chloe having an episode, so he went to check on her. They have no relationship whatsoever. I chuckled. Whether they have a relationship or not has nothing to do with me. You don't need to specifically come and tell me this, do you? Of course I didn't come specifically to tell you this. Mia, you've been too outrageous lately, haven't you? To target Chloe, you actually tried to slander her and Leo for having an improper relationship. Have you ever thought about how much damage this does to a woman's reputation? I chuckled angrily. When did I slander them? I just saw someone sneak into Chloe's house and thought it was a thief. If Leo was really just worried about Chloe and wanted to check on her, couldn't he have knocked on the door openly? Why did he have to be sneaky, like a thief? True love indeed. Michael was actually still defending Chloe. Leo didn't want to disturb the neighbors, so he didn't knock. But you, staying up all night staring at Chloe, what exactly are you trying to do? I'm warning you, I haven't settled the score with you for last time. Don't you dare cause any more trouble. You're hilarious. I already said I thought it was a thief, that's why I shouted. I've explained it clearly enough. Are you not understanding, or are you deliberately trying to find fault? Michael slammed the table in anger. What's your attitude? Chloe ended up in the hospital because of you this time, and you don't feel even a little bit of your own fault? I'm not wrong. If I have to say I'm wrong, then marrying you was wrong. Didn't you want a divorce? I agreed. We can get divorced right now. You can go find whoever you want to be with. But before the divorce, you have to give me my money back. Michael still thought I was the submissive Mia from before, who only had eyes for him. He was actually huffing and puffing at me. I wasn't going to spoil him. He wanted to cause a scene, right? Let's see whose face gets. I started to raise my voice and wipe my tears at the same time. The money I worked so hard to save for years was to prepare for having a baby. You gave it all to Chloe to buy appliances. And last time, you gave my salary to Chloe to buy clothes without even telling me. And the time before that, you gave my salary to Chloe to buy cosmetics. My voice was extremely loud, and Michael's face turned ashen as he tried to cover my mouth. I bit his hand hard. He didn't expect me to actually bite him. He yelped in pain, let go of my hand, and pushed me. I immediately lay down and started to wail and make a scene. Didn't Michael say I was a shrew and unreasonable? Today, I was going to show him what an unreasonable shrew looked like. Lying on the ground, I wailed and recounted all the rotten things Michael had done. Michael couldn't stand it anymore. He had a reputation to maintain. His face ashen, he left. My colleagues and boss, who had been listening in for a while, were extremely sympathetic towards me. Several married female colleagues came to comfort me. And then, in between words, they inquired about Michael and Chloe. In my past life, I cared about face. When I was bullied, I swallowed my pride and kept silent, thinking that family shame should not be aired publicly, and I didn't want people to look down on me or disrespect me. This life, I don't want to be with Michael anymore, so why should I cover for him? I spilled the beans about Chloe and Michael. I knew that soon, the news about Chloe and Michael would spread everywhere. With so many rumors flying around, I wanted to see if Chloe would try to kill herself. When I got off work in the evening, Michael, surprisingly, was at home. His bitten hand was bandaged, and he sat in a chair in the living room with a gloomy face. I walked past him as if I hadn't seen him, and went back to the bedroom. Michael had never been cold-shouldered like this before. Every time we argued, I would shamelessly try to make peace within 2 hours. Regardless of whether it was my fault or not, I always bowed my head first. This time, we had been in a cold war for several days, and today I bit him, showing no intention of backing down. Michael sat outside for a while and finally couldn't stand it anymore. He pushed open the bedroom door. What's for dinner? Eat whatever you want. What are you asking me for? My tone was cold. What kind of attitude is that? Mia, I haven't settled the score with you for biting me yet. What's with the face? Then how are you going to account for injuring me? I retorted. Michael was speechless. Looking at the wound on my forehead, he fell silent for a moment. I didn't mean to. I already apologized to you. I scoffed and turned my head. He stood at the door for a moment, then patiently walked in. Let me take you out to eat. What do you want to eat? What's there to eat? If you have money, hurry up and pay your debts. You owe me a lot of money, I said, holding out my hand. Veins throbbed on Michael's forehead. He wanted to get angry, but for some reason, he suppressed the anger in his heart. Mia, I know you're angry because I'm helping Chloe. I didn't consider your feelings before. It's my fault. I promise it won't happen again. I looked at Michael as if I were seeing a new continent. What do you mean? I've talked it over with Chloe. From now on, she doesn't need to come to me for her problems. She can just go to the guards. She saved me before, and I helped her find a job and helped her so much. That should be enough. I won't meddle in her affairs anymore. Let's live our lives peacefully. That sounded somewhat human, but who knew if it was true? Anyway, I don't believe it. Michael pulled me up. Let's go out to eat. I know you need money. From now on, I'll give you all my salary. I didn't know what he was up to. I had never seen such a gentle and considerate Michael in 2 lifetimes. Michael pulled me out the door for dinner. On the way, we ran into Chloe. Her eyes were red-rimmed. Seeing Michael and me, She walked unsteadily, swaying with every step, looking pitiful as if a gust of wind could blow her over. Michael didn't coddle Chloe like he used to. Instead, he pretended not to see her and walked away with me directly. We hadn't gone far when I heard Chloe cry out from behind us. She seemed to have fallen. Listening to Chloe's painful cries, I silently counted in my head. 1, 2, 3. When I finished counting to 3, Michael turned his head. He rushed towards Chloe without a second thought, just like before. I smiled, relieved. A leopard can't change its spots, as the saying goes. It's absolutely true. I didn't plan on having dinner instead. I went home alone. Michael didn't come back until late at night. He tried to push open our bedroom door, but I had locked it. Unable to get in, Michael went to the guest room. When I woke up in the morning, Michael was already up and had even bought breakfast. He smiled at me as if nothing had happened. I bought your favorite fried dough sticks and soy milk. I sat down without any expression and started eating breakfast. Michael tried to explain Chloe's health is very poor. She's severely anemic. I put down my chopsticks. Who are you trying to discuss first thing in the morning? Michael was shocked by my cold attitude. He moved his lips, and I immediately followed up. Don't tell me about irrelevant people and things. I'm not interested. It ruins my mood. Michael wanted to flare up but managed to suppress it. He even tried to explain to me. Mia, I can't ignore her. She saved my life. If she hadn't saved me back then, I would have died. I owe her my life. I've heard too much of this meaningless talk. I put down my chopsticks. Who you want to help is your business. I don't care. You don't need to keep saying you owe her your life. If it's really so hard to choose, then marry her. I'm ready to go to the courthouse with you anytime. With that, I got up and left. Michael sat there watching my retreating figure. I didn't know what he was thinking. Whatever he thought had nothing to do with me. After all, before this, in my previous life, I was neglected and abandoned by him just like this. After work, Michael came to my office to pick me up. He had bought groceries and cooked dinner himself. It was only while cooking that he realized many things were missing. Pots, pans, bowls, and plates, everything I had paid for was gone. Only what Michael himself had bought remained. He looked like he'd discovered a new continent. Mia, it seems like we're missing a lot of things at home. Yes. There were too many things we didn't use, so I gave some away. Is that so? He didn't quite believe me. After all, the things I gave away were either new or almost new. How could they be unused? We didn't speak during dinner. Except for the clinking of chopsticks and bowls, I kept my head down and said nothing the whole time. Michael kept looking at me. I could feel his gaze, but I didn't respond. Finally, he couldn't help but speak first. Mia, why aren't you wearing your wedding ring? I slowly finished half a bowl of soup before saying, sold the wedding ring. Why did you sell it? Michael asked in surprise. Why? Why didn't he know? I smiled faintly. Because I'm broke, of course. I don't have any money on me. And I need money, but no one is kind enough to just give it to me. So being broke, I had no choice but to sell my wedding ring. My words silenced Michael. He knew how much I treasured our wedding rings. After we got married, I kept reminding him to wear his. But he always refused, using the excuse that it was inconvenient. All along, it was only me, ridiculously wearing the wedding ring I had prepared myself. I pushed away my bowl and chopsticks, ready to go back to my room. I hadn't taken more than a few steps when Michael's voice came from behind me. When I get paid, I'll buy you a new ring. I scoffed and didn't look back. He then added, Chloe's health is really too weak. She's not suited for the army. I've talked to her, and I plan to send her back to her hometown to work. That way, she'll be closer to her parents and relatives, making it easier to take care of her. Michael's words made me turn my head. She agreed? Michael nodded. She agreed. Chloe is a reasonable person. She also feels she's been too much of a bother to us, and said she'll find an opportunity to apologize to you and clear things up properly. Hearing this, I showed an ambiguous smile. Michael continued, Mia, I really only feel gratitude towards Chloe. I've never had romantic feelings for her. If my helping her before caused you to misunderstand, I'm very sorry. I apologize. Things like this won't happen again. I just looked at Michael with a smile on my lips. Michael, feeling a bit flustered by my gaze, said, Mia, she has already agreed to leave this place. She'll be busy with handover work these few days. She said she'll find time to explain things to you. I hope you can talk to her calmly. Chloe actually wants to meet with me and talk things over? This is great news. I've been waiting for this day for a very, very long time. I curled my lips into a smile. All right, tell Chloe I'm ready for her esteemed presence anytime. Chloe came to find me 3 days later. I couldn't wait to meet her. Chloe still looked like she could be blown over by a gust of wind. But as soon as the door closed and she was sure it was just the two of us in the room, Chloe instantly transformed. She glared at me fiercely. Mia, you bitch. Are you very proud now that you've finally managed to drive me away? Of course. Watching you tuck your tail between your legs and scram like a beaten dog makes me very happy. As I finished speaking, Chloe's face turned ashen. You set me up, playing hard to get by suggesting a divorce to force Michael to send me away. You shameless bitch. I underestimated you. You underestimated more than just that. There are many things you don't know about me. Want me to spell them out for you carefully? I smiled at her. I know about you and Leo fooling around. I know you set your sights on Michael and wanted to seduce him. I know you're planning to scheme against me. You came prepared with quite a few tricks today, didn't you? You. How did you know? Chloe was startled by my frankness. Her arrogance vanished instantly, and she started stammering. How I know is none of your concern. Now let me guess what you're going to do next. You plan to fall and frame me. Leo is already waiting outside. He plans to rush in as soon as you scream, and then testify that I hurt you. I smiled and walked closer to the pale-faced Chloe. So hurry up and fall. Scream for help. I'm waiting for your performance. Chloe didn't dare to move, looking at me in terror. I grabbed her hair and slammed her head against the nearby table. Chloe opened her mouth to scream, but a rag was quickly and accurately stuffed into her mouth. I casually picked up the brick I had prepared earlier and smashed it into Chloe's stomach again and again. Didn't she falsely accuse me in her past life of pushing her and causing her to lose her uterus and become infertile? This life, I'll grant her wish. I struck Chloe's stomach fiercely, again and again. I saw her face contort and change color, saw blood flow from beneath her. Only when I saw her fall into a real coma did I let go of Chloe. Then I raised my voice and shouted help. Something's happened. Leo was the first to rush in. Without even looking, he started shouting. Intentional injury. How could you hurt comrade Chloe like this? You're too malicious. I smiled sweetly at Leo. Don't dawdle. Hurry up and send her to the hospital. If you're late, she might really not wake up. After all, she's having a miscarriage with heavy bleeding, and losing the baby might mean losing her uterus. You. How did you know? Leo was stunned. You don't need to worry about how I know. Just listen to me and take her to the hospital. If you're late, she'll die. You don't want people to know you're the father of the baby in her belly, do you? Leo, pale and trembling, picked up the profusely bleeding Chloe and took her to the hospital. I followed them. Chloe's uterus couldn't be saved. It was removed, just like in the previous life. Leo stayed outside the operating room the whole time, his face pale. I watched Leo with my arms crossed, smiling the entire time. After several hours of surgery, Chloe was wheeled out of the operating room unconscious. I asked Leo with a smile, aren't you going to inform your commander? Given Chloe's current condition, your commander must be worried sick. How about I watch Chloe for you, and you personally go and inform Michael? How could Leo dare to inform Michael? He dropped to his knees in front of me with a thud. I looked at Leo coldly and said, scared now? Weren't you scared when you were having fun with Chloe? Still thinking of framing me to turn things around? You wish. Leo kept kowtowing, his head bleeding from hitting the floor. I watched this despicable creature coldly. Only when I saw his head bleeding profusely did I slowly call out, stop for a moment. What are you going to do about this? I'll make Chloe leave this place. I guarantee she'll give up and never bother you and the commander again. Really? I laughed a few times. No. How can you two leave? Chloe can't leave. Please, I beg you. Leo continued to kowtow, but I waved my hand to stop him. I have a way to make your wishes come true. When I got home, Michael was still in the kitchen cooking. For the past 3 days, he had been like a different person, cooking dinner every day. Seeing me return, Michael smiled at me. Wait for me for 2 minutes. Dinner will be ready soon. I poured myself a glass of water and drank it slowly while Michael busied himself setting the table. He served me a large bowl of rice. Eat more. Pregnant women have bigger appetites. You'll have to eat 2 bowls from now on. I silently took the bowl and started eating with my head down. Michael diligently served me food. After silently eating half a bowl of rice like this, Michael finally spoke. Mia, did Chloe come look for you? She did. I nodded. What did you guys talk about? Didn't say much. I continued eating. Michael didn't get the answer he wanted and tried to probe indirectly. Did she say when she's leaving? You'll have to ask her that. I don't know. After I said that, Michael's expression froze a little. I continued to eat with my head down. I knew Michael must have looked for Chloe, but couldn't find her. Since he couldn't find her, he naturally didn't know what Chloe had said to me. He was worried, so he came to me to get information. To be honest, he was really worried about Chloe. Too bad. I sighed inwardly. The sound of a car came from outside, and soon Leo rushed in. Commander, something's happened. Something's happened to Comrade Chloe. Michael shot up from his seat. I also put down my chopsticks and looked at Michael. Michael didn't look at me. His gaze fell on Leo. Seeing Leo's injured forehead, Michael's expression turned extremely ugly. What happened? Leo didn't dare to look at me. He lowered his head, pretending to wipe away tears. It's very serious. Her uterus was removed, and she's in a coma in the hospital right now. Commander. Comrade Chloe. She's in such a terrible state. Hearing Leo say this, Michael looked incredulous. How is that possible? How could something like this happen out of the blue? Commander, you should go to the hospital quickly. As Leo finished speaking, Michael started to leave. When he reached the door, I coughed, and he stopped upon hearing my voice. Mia, I'm going to the hospital to see Chloe. I'll be back soon. I looked at Michael and said word by word, Michael, are you sure? Mia, now is not the time to be emotional. Chloe is in a coma after an accident. I have to go see her and find out what happened. Since Michael had made his own decision, it was beyond my control. I nodded and no longer tried to stop him. Michael left and didn't come back. I calmly washed up and went to bed. Before going to sleep, I checked my money. I only had $5,000. This amount of money was far from enough to go south and start a business. The next morning, I was startled awake from my sleep. When I opened my eyes, Michael had already rushed to my bedside. He grabbed my collar and lifted me out of bed. You have such a malicious heart. Mia, how can you be so malicious and shameless? Why did you do this to Chloe? She was already preparing to leave. Why wouldn't you let her go? Michael's grip on my hand was very strong. I had some difficulty breathing and scratched his hand a few times. He winced in pain and finally let go of me. Mia, you've disappointed me too much. You've done such a terrible thing. Just wait to go to jail. I didn't say a word, just looked at Michael indifferently. I waited for his roaring to subside before I spoke. Don't you want to hear my explanation? What can you explain? You did such a terrible thing to her, caused her such harm. As a woman, don't you know the pain of not being able to have children? You make me unable to forgive you. Okay, then don't forgive me. Michael, if I did wrong, you can send me to jail. You're incorrigible. You're absolutely incorrigible. Don't you feel even a shred of guilt or regret at this moment? How innocent is Chloe? He yelled at me for a while longer, until he was exhausted and finally stopped. Mia, what are you going to do now? What do you plan to do? Let the police handle everything. If you leave it to the police, you're finished. Mia, this is a crime. You'll be sentenced. Okay, then sentence me. I'm not afraid anyway. You're simply incorrigible. Michael angrily kicked over a chair. He punched the wall a few more times. I watched him coldly, waiting for him to speak first. In his previous life, he also took the initiative to propose divorce. It should be the same this life. Sure enough, after venting his anger for a while, Michael calmed down. Mia, I don't want you to go to jail. Do you know that? I don't want you to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail either, I nodded. You made a mistake this time. You must admit your mistake. Go to Chloe and sincerely apologize. And then? Just apologize? I pressed. Of course not. You hurt Chloe. This is a big deal. You can't just do nothing and not make amends. How do you need me to compensate? You go hide in the countryside for a while. I'll appease Chloe. You hide for a bit, and I'll bring you back after I've calmed Chloe down. The exact same words as in my previous life. He avoided mentioning divorce, asked me to sign an apology letter, and told me to go back to the countryside to rest and wait for things to blow over before coming back. I couldn't help but smile. Okay, I promise you. Michael's apology letter was quickly delivered for me to sign. I knew it was a divorce agreement. I signed my name without even looking at it. Seeing me sign, Michael breathed a sigh of relief. Mia, pack your things first. I'll send you off. I nodded. I don't have any money. Can you give me my money? Michael agreed. I don't know where he got the money from, maybe he borrowed it. Anyway, he brought back $2,000 for me that night. I put the money in my pocket and kept it close. On the day I left, Leo gave me another $3,000. This was the money Chloe had tricked Michael out of, money that belonged to me. Now that it was returned to its rightful owner, I accepted it without any burden. On the day I left, Michael was originally going to personally see me off, but something came up at the last minute, and he stood me up again. That's fine too. I didn't plan on going back to his hometown to be a workhorse. Now that the divorce was finalized, the abortion was much easier. I went to the hospital and got rid of the unwanted child in my womb. After recovering for a month, I took $10,000 and headed south by bus. Life on my own was a mix of pain and joy. Living for myself made me give it my all. I wasn't afraid of hardship or fatigue, my only goal was to make money. After a year of hard work, I finally managed to secure my own shop through my own efforts. While wholesale shopping, I ran into someone I used to know, a distant cousin of Michael's from his hometown. We had only met once. Michael's distant cousin was very surprised to see me. Mia, what are you doing here? Do you know Michael has been looking for you for a long time? I quietly looked at Michael's distant cousin. She told me that Michael's mother had an accident and was paralyzed, needing someone to take care of her. Then she called Michael, and that's when Michael found out I hadn't returned to his hometown. Michael's distant cousin asked me, "Why did you come south to do business?" I smiled faintly. "Didn't Michael tell you? You should ask him, he'd know better. What about your child? It should have been born by now, right? I remember you were pregnant then, and Michael also said you were several months pregnant when you left. The child died. It's gone." Michael's cousin's eyes widened. I was busy attending to customers and didn't chat with her further. I never expected Michael to find me. One night after I finished work, Michael suddenly appeared. He was carrying bags of things and called out to me affectionately, just like before, "Mia." I looked over indifferently. He put on a smile. "I heard you were here. Mia, why did you come here without saying anything? You made me search for so long. Looking for me for what? Aren't you married? Shouldn't you be living happily ever after with Chloe for all eternity? Why did you think of looking for me?" Exposed like that, Michael's face turned red. He actually felt ashamed. "Mia, I didn't mean to deceive you. It's just that Chloe was in such a terrible state back then, and she insisted it was your doing. I didn't want you to go to jail. For you and the baby in your belly, I had to resort to that, agree to divorce you and marry her. I never intended to marry her. It was just a temporary measure. I just didn't want to see you go to jail, didn't want you to suffer." I couldn't help but laugh. "Michael, do you think I'd believe your words? Do you still think I'm the same fool I was before?" Michael's expression changed again and again. For the first time, he apologized humbly. "Mia, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I was really wrong. All right, if you came here to apologize, I accept it. As for whether I forgive you or not, that's not your concern. You can go now." Mia, I want to see our child. I bought gifts for the child." His words made me burst out laughing until tears streamed down my face. Michael looked at me bewildered. I laughed for a long time, it really was too ridiculous. Finally, I was tired from laughing. "Michael, what makes you so confident that I would give birth to your bastard child?" Michael's face turned from red to white, which was quite amusing. I continued to laugh. "You really have some beautiful thoughts, huh? Divorcing me to marry your beloved Chloe, letting me, kept in the dark, bear your children, carry on your family line, take care of your parents, and be your lifelong old servant. Don't you think you're too shameless?" "I'm not. You are that kind of person, don't deny it. Otherwise, why would you marry Chloe? Why would you be in such a hurry to send me away? And why would you only think of contacting me more than a year after I left? If you had even a shred of conscience, you wouldn't have left me pregnant and uncared for, would you?" Let me guess why you came looking for me. Seeing you like this, you must not be doing too well. After all, Commander Michael always had guards with him when he went out. Where's your loyal and good guard, Leo? Michael couldn't speak. I continued to laugh. You picked up a cast-off played by Leo and treasured her like gold. And now you're getting your karma. Huh? Do you know why you've fallen to this point? It's because I reported you. When I left a letter for your competitor. Was it you? You actually reported me? Why? He actually had the nerve to ask me why? Michael, did you think I left without knowing anything, completely fooled by you? Wrong, this was all my design. At this point, I have nothing left to hide. I want to see the wonderful expression on Michael's disgusting face when he learns the truth. I knew Leo and Chloe were trying to harm me. I knew Leo and Chloe were having an affair. I knew Chloe faked saving you. It was Leo and Chloe working together to deceive you, aiming to get you to arrange a good job for Chloe. I didn't expect you to fall for Chloe's act so easily, so they changed their minds at the last minute. Michael's expression began to turn ugly. I knew his heart was breaking right now. I know you fell out of love with me and fell for Chloe. Why should a disgusting and dirty thing like you hold such a high position? So, I sent you both a big gift. Knowing Chloe deceived you, knowing your position would be affected, so you hurt Chloe and Leo and turned them into cripples, so your job is gone too. I took a breath, looking at Michael's pale face. This was all a big gift I designed for you long ago. Do you like my big gift? My confession made Michael's face turn green with anger. I continued to smile and up the ante, marrying someone else's cast-off as a treasure, and then losing the chance to get promoted and rich because of that cast-off. Now you're actually dreaming of getting back together with me, thinking I'll still bear your children. What gives you the right? Your big face? Michael jumped up in a rage, about to hit me. I wasn't going to indulge him. He's hitting me. Assault. While shouting, I kicked him hard below. Michael bent over in pain. The surrounding people heard my cries for help and gathered around. I accused Michael of assaulting me. Soon, kind-hearted people escorted Michael to the police station. Once a man of high standing, Michael was incredibly influential. Now a down-and-out Michael, nobody was going to coddle him. He was fined, reprimanded, detained overnight, and released in disgrace. He lost his job, lost everything, and his mother back home had an accident. Michael still wanted to find me and have me be his meal ticket. He thought I loved him and would be fooled by his sweet talk. But I've lived a whole other life. How could I jump back into that fire pit? Michael didn't leave and kept watch nearby. Seeing my business doing well, he was still plotting to get me back. As a result, even God couldn't stand it anymore. On a rainy night, he was hit by a car and both his legs were crushed. Michael became a cripple, destined to spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair. This was his karma. He tried everywhere to get people to ask me to see him. I refused. I had already seen his downfall, and I was satisfied. There was no need to discuss myself again. From now on, I'll walk my own prosperous path, and he'll live his impoverished and destitute life. This is for the best. The end.